Every Doris Has Her Day was the 7th episode, first broadcasted on June 1st, 1994. This was actually the first episode of The Critic to be burned off by ABC after they canceled the show in March of 1994, which, if you saw the scheduling for this show, you pretty much saw that they had no idea where to schedule this show. I mean, you have it on right before Home Improvement, the biggest show on television at the time. If they really believed in it, they would have put the show behind that is after Home Improvement to get the ratings numbers there. Or if they really wanted to, put it behind Roseanne, put it behind Coach, put it behind Full House, put it behind a time where the show could actually do well in its time slot. But it's pretty clear that this show really... ABC wanted their own Simpsons success, but they had no idea where they needed to put the show in order for it to find the success. I mean, the show that The Critic was literally replacing when this came on the air the first time in January was a show starring George Foreman. A sitcom starring George Foreman, mind you, but a sitcom starring George Foreman. And before that, we had a show called Joe's Life, which featured Peter Onorati from... various shows, including Civil Wars, and Murder One. And of course, that did not last very long. So this is the third show in this time slot that they had on Wednesday night. It was on, like I said, right before Home Improvement. If they really wanted the show to be a success, they would have put it behind one of their biggest comedy hits. It would have been either behind Home Improvement, would have been behind Roseanne, would have been behind Coach, Full House. But no, they decided to just cancel the show and burn it off in the summertime. And like I said, this aired on June 1st, 1994, the first of the shows to be burned off in the summer. But bottom line, this was written by Steve Tompkins, who is a prolific television writer, has written for a number of different various shows, went to Harvard, but wrote for shows like In Living Color, Entourage, The Bernie Mac Show, The Knights of Prosperity, The Simpsons, of course. He went on to go co-create The PJs with Larry Wilmore and Eddie Murphy, and his more recent works have included the show Fanboy and Chum Chum on Nickelodeon. But he wrote this episode, directed by Alan Smart, and the story here is that you have Jay befriending his makeup lady, Doris, played by the late, great Doris Grau, after they attend a musical adaptation of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And they think that Jay thinks that she may be the mother who gave him up for adoption years ago. And when you look back on this episode, the more I thought about it, I was really scared that this was going to turn into one of the worst Simpsons episodes they ever did, which was Romy Old and Julie Ebb, where they tried to force a romantic relationship between two people who clearly should not be together. Like in that episode of The Simpsons, it was Abe and also Selma, I think it was. Yeah, they tried to form a relationship between Abe and Selma, and they eventually got married in there, and it's one of the worst Simpsons episodes ever. I mean, it's them trying to force a relationship that should not clearly be a thing because of the obvious reasonings. They're family. This is kind of like a weird incestuous type of thing, and they tried to do this around the same time during the peak of The Simpsons, where they had Abe, Homer's father, getting together with Marge's mother, and it worked better, but at the same time, it's still kind of, it's still pretty iffy and all that. But I was afraid they were going to do that in this particular episode, but I'm glad that 10 minutes into the episode, they dropped that, and the main premise of this episode is a pretty good one. You get to see Jay and Doris working off of each other, trying to see whether or not that she actually is Jay's mother that left him to be adopted by his current parents. And it's a really good episode, and it gives Doris Grau a chance to really show off what she can do. I mean, this is an actress. This is somebody who you may know her just as Lunch Lady Doris on The Simpsons, but she's worked on a ton of different things as well. She's done a lot of things. She began her career actually supervising film and TV scripts. She did stuff for movies like Point Blank, which starred Lee Marvin. She worked on she was a script supervisor for the '76 remake of King Kong. She did stuff like The Champ, The Frisco Kid, The Pursuit of D.B. Cooper, Clue, No Way Out. She supervised a ton of scripts on there, and she also supervised some of the best TV scripts of all time, specifically Cheers, The Tracy Ullman Show, and in the last couple of years, she did The Simpsons. And unfortunately, she passed away about a year after this episode aired, late in the year in 1995. So this was one of the last few things that she actually got to do in her time before she passed away. And it's a really good episode, and it really shows the show giving her a chance to really expand her character as an arc in general, and I thought they did a pretty good job of handling that. This is another really great episode with a lot of really good humor and parodies. I mean, the Hunchback of Notre Dame musical parody was... I mean, I don't know if somebody at the show knew that Disney was going to be working on a musical version of the Hunchback of Notre Dame, but it's pretty impressive that they were able to do this before Disney actually put it out there. And you know what? It's not a bad musical parody of it. I mean, it's really fun to watch.
Oh, if you see a hunchback, why not take him out to lunch, Jack, to say, hey, thanks a bunch, man. Thank you for being a hunch.
This performance was sponsored by Toyota, the hatchback fit for a hunchback.
And everything about the parodies in this were really good. Like Howard Stern's end, it's right from the get-go, is absolutely hilarious. JFK, you know, starts off with the extended cut of JFK of Kevin Costner's character just going back and to the left, back and to the left, and it's just to name a few of those things. There's a lot of good material here, a lot of good animation, a really good story that really did not go the route that I thought it was going to go. This is one of those ones that I don't watch very often, but at the same time, it's not because it's a bad episode. It's because it's one that I'm always afraid is going to go down that route that I thought it was going to go to in the beginning, but it luckily doesn't do that, and it makes for a very enjoyable, very solid episode. It's a well-done story that took me by surprise and doesn't go down the predictable route. I like it. It's a really good episode. Definitely gives a chance for Doris Growl to show what she can do. Probably one of her last great things that she was able to do before she passed away, and it's a really good episode. I highly recommend it.
Excuse me, sir. The show's over.
Is the snack bar still open?